Happy Friday. Good morning to you. By the way, we had some hellacious storms come through the Hoover and Birmingham area last night. A lot of people are still without power. I just talked to Dr. Josh Claypo. He's without power. So if you're without power, man, keep the doors closed and keep it cool as long as you possibly can. It'll all come back up a little bit later on this morning, tomorrow. Got some interesting stories I wanted to get into. One about a sinkhole that's going to scare the bejeebers out of you, and also about some rock and roll. I did want to mention, last night we had Austin Hanks, Blues Almighty. Austin has been super busy. He works, of course, with the Big Bad Blues Band, Billy Gibbons band from ZZ Top going back in the road. And he's written songs for them from their Futurama album. The guy's just fantastic and knows a ton of people. He does a show with us on Tony Kurre Radio on the TKR app. Just go to your Android Apple Store, just pull up TKR. You'll see it's got a fantastic guitar on fire. It's beautiful. It's great. Great classic rock and roll 24 hours a day. We have 13 different shows. Today alone, we have When in Rome with Stuart Rome. We're doing our favorite classic rock songs that you can hear in pharmaceutical commercials. We'll do that at 1 and 7. The Damon Johnson Show at noon and 8. And also today we have this wonderful show with Kip Kiefer called Need to Know. And that show is going to be airing at 2 and 6. So you can hear that show along with the Terry Quilliam. So all kinds of great shows. And, of course, if you miss any of our shows, go to Spotify. Andy Morgan, good morning to you. And you can listen to all of our shows on Spotify. It's fantastic. Check it out. But last night, Austin Hanks did Hippie Blues. You know, I reached out to him a couple of years ago when Dusty Hill passed away because he knew Dusty really well from his ZZ Top. And I said, man, I love the blues. We wouldn't have classic rock without the blues. The Rolling Stones wouldn't exist. The Beatles wouldn't exist. The Who wouldn't exist. Zeppelin wouldn't. I mean, every great classic rock and roll band has ripped off all the blues. Without the blues, we wouldn't have classic rock. And so he started this blues show, and it's just fantastic. The musical cuts he grabs are just fantastic. Again, check out Austin Hanks Blues Almighty. Again, go to Spotify, search Spotify or Tony Kurre Radio, and just pull up Blues Almighty, and you're going to love it. So I'm kind of a little different on this because I've brought on so many classic rock bands. I've seen so many shows, thousands, and there's nothing that's worse than when you get, well, sometimes it's not so bad. When you go to a concert and you know a band's going to play a song. For example, if I go to an AC/DC concert, I know they're going to play Back in Black. If I go to a Leonard Skinner concert, I know they're going to play Freebird, right? I've been to a lot of concerts. I've been to a Warren Zevon show where he didn't play Werewolves of London, which was kind of like, it's this big song. He's like, it's kind of a joke. I really don't want to play anymore. I've seen Todd Rundgren play where he didn't play Hello, It's Me. I'm like, what the hell? Because everyone was there to hear Hello, It's Me. It'd be like going to see Jimmy Buffett and he doesn't play Margaritaville. And I don't know why some artists do this. I know they're tired of playing it. They've been playing it for years and years and years, but you're there for the fans, right? We're paying to see you. And so I understand where some fans get pissed off. They're like, I want to hear that song. Despite the fact they've heard it a million times, just to hear it live is super important. So when Pat Benatar came out yesterday and said she wasn't going to play Hit Me With Your Best Shot, which is by far her best song and her biggest song she ever did. She did We Belong, Love Is a Battlefield. I get all those other songs. Shadows of the Night, but that's the biggest song she's ever done. She is not going to perform that 1980 song. She's 69. She said, we're not doing it. And fans are having a heart attack. And I'm like, I'm sorry, in deference to the victims, the families of these mass shootings around the country, I am not going to sing Hit Me With Your Best Shot. She said, I can't say those words out loud with a smile on my face. I just can't. She said, I know the song is tongue-in-cheek, but you have to draw the line somewhere. I'm not going to go on stage in a soapbox. I go to legislators. She said, I'm adding to my small contribution to protesting, I'm not going to sing it tough. And I'm thinking to myself, so if you knew a rock and roller wasn't going to play their biggest song, would you still want to go see that show? Part of going to a concert is wondering what they're going to play next. Sometimes, like, if you go to the Def Leppard concert right now, every stinking song is huge. I mean, they play like, they're giving the audience what they want. It's 20 songs, and every song is well known. It's unbelievable. Some bands will play, half their really good stuff, and then they'll play a couple of new songs, and that's a good time to go take a leak or grab a beer because you really don't care. And then they'll play a couple of deep cuts. I would say Steely Dan is along those realms where you can hear some stuff. Occasionally you hear a song, you're like, oh, I can't believe they're playing that. And that's a wonderful thing, too. Pat Benatar, the fact she's 69, she missed 20 years of touring because she was taking care of her kids, this, that, and the other. Really amazing that she's not going to be playing Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Do you really care? I don't know. And I didn't even know she was touring. But evidently she sounds pretty good. All right, so I talk about on Tony Kurre Radio here in the TKR app. and on Facebook Live, the sinkhole mentality. I've brought this up many times. Anytime you've seen me, the sinkhole mentality is when something happens and all of a sudden it seems like it's happening everywhere. So when there's a giant sinkhole in Kentucky that swallows a bunch of Corvettes and some people, perish in it, it's terrible. All of a sudden, you hear all these stories about sinkholes. When there's a shark attack down on Orange Beach, all of a sudden there's shark attacks all over the place. Whenever there's something that happens, then all of a sudden everyone makes cognizant of, oh my gosh, this just happened, and all of a sudden it seems like it's happening everywhere. It's called the sinkhole mentality. In Israel yesterday, dude, I don't know if I'll ever get in a swimming pool again. One man found dead, another injured in a large sinkhole that formed suddenly beneath an in-ground swimming pool. Evidently, there was a bunch of people in this huge Olympic-sized swimming pool. They said there were about 300 or 400 people in there. And all of a sudden, someone was down there, you got your goggles on, right? And all of a sudden, she sees this hole opening up, and the entire swimming pool emptied. That's how big this big-ass sinkhole was. Could you imagine? And people were getting sucked into the sinkhole at the bottom of a swimming pool. It's one thing if you're like out in your backyard, a sinkhole, I get it. But in a sinkhole in the middle of a swimming pool, that'd be horrible. It's like a whirlpool. Oh my gosh, it just freaked me out. Teresa Ponder, good morning to you. Unfortunately, one person lost his life. There was a woman who saw the sinkhole. She felt getting sucked in. She got out, was screaming to people, get out of the pool, get out of the pool. And they thought she was joking. And people were just getting sucked into this huge sink. And think about how big that sinkhole had to be to suck in every ounce of water out of an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Scary crap. Next time you jump in your swimming pool, think about that. Don't mess up your summer. All right, Damon Johnson is on the road with Leonard Skinner. We have a Damon Johnson show we run at noon and 8 every Friday. We have When in Rome with Stuart Rome, the Woodhouse Day Spa, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Did the show yesterday. It's a great show. Today we're talking about our 5 favorite pharmaceutical companies and their classic rock songs they use for their commercials. I heard All Right Now from Free for some pharmaceutical medicine or something last week. And every time I hear All Right Now, I get excited because I love that song, but I'm like, oh, man, they sold out, dude. I don't want to hear that song every 3 minutes for some heart attack medicine. Anyway, and then, of course, Kip Keefer's show runs at 2 and 6 called Need to Know. When I first invited Kip to come on Tony Kurre Radio, I thought he was going to want to do like a political show. He goes, I don't want to do a political show. I want to do a show about anything I want to talk about. And I said, totally cool. But this show is kind of political. And I think you'll really, really like it, particularly down here in the state of Alabama. So we got that going on. Make sure you download the Tony Kurre Radio app. Just download TKR. Look at TKR. Super easy. It takes you 5 seconds. If you don't like it, get rid of it. I promise you're going to love it. It's great classic rock and roll 24 hours a day. And go to wherever you get our wonderful podcasts, Spotify, Audio Boom, or anything else. Search Tony Kurre Radio Podcast, and you can find all of our stuff. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. Stay cool. If you're out of power, I hope you get your power back soon. And we will catch up with you over the weekend. I love you.